In this video, we'll put the 30 most popular cordless vacuums we've tested in tiers, depending on performance. From best to worst, we'll have 6 tiers. The best vacuums are put in the S tier. The worst are put in the E tier. Most will fall somewhere in between. We start with the Tineco A10. The A10 has above average power and deep cleaning ability for a budget grade cordless vacuum, but it failed our flour clog test and our debris containment test. In our flour clog test, the A10 picks up debris without issue, but much of the debris it picks up deposits on its premotor filter. In our debris containment test, it exhausts much of the fine debris it picks up into the air. This is a D tier cordless vacuum. The Tineco A11 also has good airflow and suction for the price, and it picks up surface level debris and deep cleans very well, but it too failed our flour clog test. Like the A10, it picks up the debris without issue, but much of it deposits on its premotor filter. Compare this result to that of a vacuum that passed this test. This Dyson picks up the same amount of flour, but almost no flour deposits on its premotor filter. It uses multiple cyclones to filter out fine debris and drop it back into its bin. The Tineco doesn't have these cyclones, and so fine debris deposits on its pre-filter much more quickly. These test results indicate that the Tineco will lose suction quicker and require much more filter maintenance than a multi-cyclonic vacuum like this Dyson. Overall, the Tineco A11 is only a C-tier cordless vacuum. The Tineco Pure ONE S12 has a good amount of power and picks up surface level and embedded debris very well with clean filters, like other Tinecos. It also adds an auto cleaning mode, which increases suction and battery usage only when necessary, when you vacuum over a high density of debris. But it too lacks a multi-cyclonic design, like A-series Tinecos, and so it too would fail our flour clog test. It also performed poorly in our hard floor crevice test, and it has a small dustbin. Overall, this is again only a C-tier cordless vacuum. The Shark Cordless Pro cleans hard floors very well and performed very well in our hair tangling tests. It didn't tangle at all with 8-inch long hair and tangled minimally with 14-inch long hair. But it has low tested suction, even with brand new filters, and it failed our flour clog test. It also struggles cleaning fine surface level debris and fine embedded debris on carpet. This is another C-tier cordless vacuum. The Shark Pet cordless vacuum is highly affordable and agitates carpet very well to get good deep cleaning performance, but it failed our debris containment test. Much of the fine debris this vacuum picks up, it exhausts into the air. It also has low tested airflow and suction, and it performed poorly in our hard floor crevice test. Accounting for its performance in all of our tests, this is only a D-tier cordless vacuum. The Shark Stratos is one of the most expensive Shark cordless vacuums on the market. With clean filters, it performed very well in most of our tests. It picks up surface level and embedded debris well on carpet, and it cleans hard floors very well. It's also highly resistant to hair tangling, and it has excellent battery life. The only real negative for the Stratos is its performance in our flour clog test. Like other Sharks, the Stratos lacks a multi-cyclonic design. Fine debris has a straight line path right through its metal mesh filter and onto its pre-filter, and so it did not perform well in this test. Its performance in this test drops it down into the B tier. The Shark Vertex is one of the more popular Sharks released in the last few years. It's not multi-cyclonic, but it adds this baffle to its bin. This reduces airflow but limits fine debris getting to and accumulating on its premotor filter. Both the Vertex and the Stratos pick up flour without issue in this test, but very little, if any, flour deposits on the Vertex pre-filter compared to the Stratos pre-filter. The Vertex also picks up surface level debris very well and is highly resistant to hair tangling. On the negative side of things, it has low tested airflow and suction, and so it didn't perform well in our carpet deep cleaning test or our hard floor crevice test. All things considered, this is another B-tier cordless vacuum. Compared to the Vertex, the Shark Vertex Pro removes this plastic baffle from its bin, which increases airflow but gives a straight line path for fine debris to accumulate on its pre-filter. This is the same design as the Shark Stratos. In our flour clog test, both vacuums pick up the debris without issue, but much more debris accumulates on the Vertex Pro pre-filter, which indicates that it will lose suction much quicker and require much more filter maintenance than the standard Vertex. Like the Stratos, the Vertex Pro does well in most other tests, like our carpet and hard floor stress tests, but unlike the Stratos, it doesn't do as well in our airflow and suction tests and our hard floor crevice test. This puts the Vertex Pro in a tier below the Stratos, in the C tier. The Shark Vertex Pro Liftaway has an entirely different design and filtration system compared to the Vertex Pro. which allowed it to pass our flower clock test. We also really like its versatility. You can lift the main body away from the cleaner head, you can easily remove the wand from the main body, remove the handle from the wand, or use the vacuum entirely independently of the cleaner head. The problem is that the design that facilitates this versatility requires a lot of weight and bulk. The vacuum's cleaner head especially is large and heavy. This vacuum also failed our debris containment test. Accounting for its performance in all of our tests, this is another C-tier cordless vacuum. Unlike Tineco's and Shark's, Samsung's are multicyclonic. The Samsung Bespoke Jet uses multiple cyclones to filter out fine debris and drop it back into its bin instead of having that same debris pass through to clog up its filters. This is well demonstrated in our flower clock test. The Bespoke Jet picks up all the debris without issue, and very little of it passes all the way through its cyclones and onto its premotor filter. This vacuum also easily passed our debris containment test. It generally offers good pickup performance on carpet and hard floors, and it's very easy to store, with an included stand that empties and charges the vacuum. On the negative side of things, it isn't quite as powerful, doesn't deep clean quite as well, and tangles slightly more with long hair than top-rated competitors. It can self-empty, but it has a very small dustbin, so you'll have to empty it frequently. Overall though, this is still an A-tier cordless vacuum. The Samsung Jet 75 is one of the cheapest cordless vacuums on the market that passed both of our two most important tests, our flower clock test and our debris containment test. This vacuum also has excellent battery life with good performance on medium power, picks up debris well on carpet with its multi-floor cleaner head, and can clean hard floors well with an available Samsung soft roller cleaner head. On the negative side of things, its multi-floor cleaner head struggles with large debris on hard floors, and tangles very easily with especially long hair. Overall, we put the Jet 75 in the B tier. The Orfeld V20 is highly affordable and picks up smaller size surface level debris reasonably well on carpet and hard floors. It's also very light and easy to handle. But it has very low tested airflow and suction, and it loses suction quickly because its premotor filter clogs up easily with fine debris. This vacuum also plows forward large debris, doesn't deep clean carpet well, and tangles very easily with long hair. Despite its low price, this is an E-tier cordless vacuum. Like Dyson's and Samsung's, the LG CordZero is also multicyclonic. It uses these cyclones to filter out fine debris and drop it back into its bin to keep it from accumulating on its pre-filter. This vacuum also picks up surface level and embedded debris well on carpet, and it has excellent battery life with good performance on medium power. On the negative side of things, it struggles picking up large debris on hard floors, and it tangles very easily with especially long hair. Most importantly though, it failed our debris containment test. It's difficult to see, but fog leaks out of the top of the vacuum in this test. You can see it over this darker part of the vacuum. Mostly because of its performance in this test, the CordZero drops all the way down into the C tier. The Kenmore Elite CSV Max is the only budget-priced cordless vacuum that we tested that passed our debris containment test. It also deep cleans better and is more resistant to hair tangling than most budget-priced competitors. It did fail our flower clock test though, and it has very low battery life. Compared to all other cordless vacuums we've tested, it gets a spot in the C tier. The Inse N5s is usually even cheaper than the Kenmore, picks up most types of surface level debris fairly well, and is very light and easy to use. But it failed our flower clock test and our debris containment test. It also has very low tested airflow and suction, and deep cleans poorly, even compared to other budget vacuums. Compared to all other cordless vacuums we've tested, we put the Inse in the E tier. The Hoover ONEPWR Blade Plus agitates carpet well to pick up most types of surface level debris and embedded debris well on carpet. We also like that it has a swappable battery with its own docking station for charging. On the negative side of things, its main body is large and heavy with a small dustbin. We bought this vacuum for review before we started testing for clogging, but we did test it for debris containment, and it failed this test, clearly exhausting fog instead of keeping it contained inside of the vacuum. All things considered, we put the ONEPWR Blade Plus in the D tier. The Eureka NEC 180 RapidClean Pro was the only budget-priced vacuum that we tested that passed our flower clock test. This vacuum also picks up most types of surface-level debris well on carpet and hard floors, and it's very light and nimble with easy-to-use controls. On the negative side of things, it has very low tested airflow and suction, which negatively impacts its deep cleaning ability. It also tangles very easily with long hair, and most importantly, it failed our debris containment test. Accounting for its performance in all of our tests, the Eureka is only a D-tier cordless vacuum overall. The Dyson V8 is one of the cheapest Dysons on the market, but picks up most types of debris just about as well as more expensive Dysons. It also passed both of our two most important tests, our flower cloud test and our debris containment test, like more expensive Dysons. The biggest negative for the V8 is the fact that it lacks a medium suction setting. It has good performance but poor battery life on high, and good battery life but significantly worse performance on low. More expensive Dysons add a medium suction setting, on which they get good battery life and good performance. Overall, the V8 is a B-tier cordless vacuum. Compared to the V8, the V10 is more expensive, but adds a medium suction mode, on which it gets excellent battery life and performance. It also offers slightly better deep cleaning performance on high power, and it has a much bigger dustbin, with a volume of 500 milliliters versus 300 milliliters for the V8. These advantages push the V10 up into the A tier. The V11 has several advantages over the V10. It adds a back display that shows battery life remaining in minutes and seconds. The V10 uses LEDs on its battery pack to show battery life. The V11 also adds a swappable battery, has much better battery life on high power, and has more measured airflow and suction than the V10. These advantages aren't quite enough to push it up into the S tier though. We reserve the S tier for only the very best cordless vacuums we've tested. With that being said, the V11 also goes in the A tier. The V12 takes several steps forward, but 2 significant steps backward compared to the V11. On the positive side of things, the V12 is lighter than the V11, which makes it easier to handle and control. Second, it adds a soft roller cleaner head. The V11 and the V12 have the same multi-floor cleaner head, which picks up most types of debris well, but struggles picking up large debris on hard floors. The V12 comes with this soft roller that doesn't have any trouble with large debris on hard floors. The V11 is only compatible with this cleaner head. It doesn't come with it. Another addition you get with the V12 is an on-off button. You only have to press this button once to power the vacuum on and keep it powered on. On the V11, you have to hold down a power trigger to keep the vacuum powered on. Lastly, the V12 adds a particle counter on the back display that shows the size of the particles the vacuum picks up. The V11 doesn't have this feature. On the negative side of things, you do get less power with the V12. It was measured to have considerably less airflow and suction than the V11 in our tests. The second major negative for the V12 is its small dustbin. We measured the V12 bin to have a maximum capacity of only 150 milliliters versus 500 milliliters for the V11. This is a tiny bin that's only really practical if you vacuum frequently and have a very small space to vacuum. Mostly because of its tiny bin, we dropped the V12 down to the B tier. The V15 is one of the best all-around cordless vacuums we've tested. It has a lot of power, much more than the V12, and it performed very well in most of our tests, including our flower cloud test and our debris containment test. The biggest difference between the V15 and cheaper Dysons is their included cleaner heads. The V8, V10, V11, and the V12 all use the same multi-floor cleaner head that struggles picking up large debris on hard floors. The V15 uses a redesigned gated cleaner head that can be set to perform much better picking up large debris on hard floors. The V8, V10, and V11 are compatible with, but don't come with, a soft roller cleaner head. The V15 actually comes with an extra soft roller cleaner head that performs phenomenally well on hard floors. This cleaner head is also included with the V12, but the V12 still has a non-gated multi-floor cleaner head, much less power, and a much smaller dustbin compared to the V15. We put the V12 in the B tier, the V15 goes in the A tier. The Dyson Gen5 Detect is basically an upgraded, more advanced V15. Gen 5 Dysons, including the Gen5 Detect and Gen5 Outsize, have a better, more restrictive post-motor filter than other Dysons. This purple filter captures particles as small as 0.3 microns with 99.99% efficiency. The Gen 5 filter captures particles as small as 0.1 microns with 99.99% efficiency. Gen 5 Dysons also add an on-off button, a more dynamic particle meter, and an integrated brush and crevice tool. On the V15, you have to clip the tools onto the wand to carry them with you, and you have to remove them from the clip and then install them onto the front of the vacuum one at a time to use them. You only need to remove the Gen5 Detect's wand to immediately start using these tools. Overall, the Gen 5 Detect is a solid upgrade over the V15, but not enough of an upgrade to push it into a higher tier than the V15, so it also goes in the A tier. The Gen 5 Outsize gives you two major upgrades over other Dysons, a large oversized dustbin and a large oversized cleaner head. Both of these upgrades greatly increase cleaning efficiency. The Outsize bin can be emptied 3 times less frequently than most other Dyson bins, and the Outsize cleaner head allows you to clean any particular space up to 25% faster than you can with other Dyson cleaner heads. This vacuum also comes with all of the Gen 5 upgrades you get with the Gen 5 Detect, and it includes a soft roller cleaner head and an extra battery. It's also a terrific all-around performer, with good results in our flower clog test, our debris containment test, our deep cleaning tests, and our hair tangling tests. Accounting for its design and features and its performance in all of our tests, this is the very best cordless vacuum we've tested, and so it goes in the S tier. The standard Dyson Outsize also gives you excellent cleaning efficiency, with the same size dustbin and cleaner head as the Gen 5 Outsize. It lacks the Gen 5 model's Gen 5 features, and it doesn't come with a soft roller cleaner head or an extra battery, but it still performed very well in most of our tests, and it's still an Outsize. Overall, we put it in the A tier. The Dyson Omni-glide performed very well picking up surface level debris in our hard floor stress test, but it was the only Dyson to fail our flower clog test. It also performed poorly in our hair tangling tests and our hard floor crevice test, and it has the smallest dustbin of any cordless vacuum we've tested. It goes in the E tier. The Bissell AirRam has a unique design that combines the main body of the vacuum with its cleaner head. This makes it heavy on the ground but light in the hand. It makes it very easy to stand up and store. Its unique design does keep the AirRam from being used as a handheld vacuum, a significant disadvantage compared to most other cordless vacuums we've tested. It also performed very poorly in our carpet deep cleaning test, and it failed our debris containment test. Overall, this is only a D tier cordless vacuum. The Bissell Featherweight is highly affordable, lightweight, and stands up on its own, but it's highly susceptible to clogging, so much so that it clogged up in our regular stress tests, in which we only use a very small quantity of flour. The Featherweight struggled picking up other types of debris in these tests as well, and it failed our debris containment test. Overall, we put it in the E tier. The Black+Decker Powerseries cordless vacuum is highly affordable and very light and easy to use, but like the Bissell Featherweight, clogged up in our regular stress tests. It also has very low tested power, a tiny dustbin, and failed our debris containment test. This is another E tier cordless vacuum. The Black+Decker Powerseries Extreme picks up surface level debris well on carpet and deep cleans carpet well for the price. It also has good battery life relative to its performance for the price, but it performed poorly on hard floors, both in our stress tests and our hard floor crevice test. It also has very low tested suction, and it failed our debris containment test. It also goes in the E tier. And that just about wraps up this video ranking the 30 most popular cordless vacuums we've tested so far. See the description of this video for the latest updated list of all of the cordless vacuums we recommend, and thank you for watching.